Welcome back to the closet. Today we're talking about my first crash and how listening to people who say you aren't going fast enough to worry about tire wear can give you head trauma. So, January 2024, counterclockwise at Chuckwalla, I was starting to get elbowed down in turn 10 just about every lap that morning. On the third lap of Q2, instead of looking up into 9 and seeing sky, I saw the front wheel of my RS660. I was so low at the apex that I didn't even really feel the fall, and it took almost a full second for the suit to register. I remember the clip-ons getting ripped out of my hands.
Yeah, that's not what you want to have happen.
And then the rear tire grazing the back of my helmet. I felt the airbag go off, and then I started to tumble. I flipped shoulder to knee probably 6 or 7 times. When the world finally stopped spinning, I was just laying there looking up at the sky with a mouthful of dirt. And I remember saying to myself, "Bitch, get up." I didn't want somebody else in their bike to come snuggle up next to me. That's a after hours type of deal. Once the bike and I got back to the paddock, I was still amped up and I jumped right into getting the crew working on repairing the bike. There was definitely a little sense of pride in that I had gotten my first crash out of the way. It was done. It was over with, and I could move on. And then my ears started bleeding. And I remember thinking to myself, is this bad enough to go to the hospital? There's probably nothing that they can do for a concussion anyway. If you're asking yourself what caused the crash, it was my rear tire. I've been racing on that same set for almost 8 months. Shout out Dunlop Slicks for trying. Countless heat cycles, tons of surface wear, but people kept telling me, you're not fast enough to worry about tire wear. Well, I got fast enough. And looking back on the incident, there were so many red flags leading up to the crash. Now I change my tires once or twice per race weekend. If you're trying to save money, find a racer or a team who's willing to give you or sell you their takeoffs. They usually run 6 or 7 races per weekend and toss tires after maybe 1 or 2. If you can't do that, make sure your tire vendor owes you favors. So, lesson 1. Worn tires don't care what group you're in or what class you run. If you've ran them for more than a couple weekends, probably time to change them. And if you're not sure, ask a tire vendor you trust. Or better yet, just change them. Crashes are expensive, and tires are cheap, relatively. I would much rather drop $300 or $400 on a set of new slicks than anywhere from $1,000 to $100,000 on new parts for the bike and myself. Hospital visits are not cheap, y'all. Look at the wear on these tires. Just change them. Lesson 2. If you fall down on track, go get checked out by medical. It's a generally good rule that if your gear has taken some damage, you probably have too. Head injuries shouldn't be shrugged off. Take those bumps seriously. I'm glad I kept these as an example.